Aloha. We're here at Waikalua Loko on the beautiful shores of Kāneʻohe Bay in the southern part of Kaneʻohe Bay, and we're here this morning with Kawaikapuokalani Hewett. And I just thought, a lot of people probably don't know our connection, but we go back a long ways to the days of King Intermediate when we were students. We both graduated the same year and from high school, and we've had an opportunity to stay connected throughout these many years, and it's been wonderful. And Kawaikapu also has a family connection to Waikalua as well, and we're very honored to have him here share a little bit about that connection and some of the stories that he has to share with us today. So Kawaikapu.
Aloha. Mahalo nui a oi.
Yeah.
Aloha mai kākou, ke aloha nui, ke aloha nui, ke aloha nui a kākou. E no ko umanao e pili ana no kapilina o ke ia aina ma Waikalua Loko. I ku uwa kamariki, ku uwa opi o noho no mākou i ke ia aina. Noho mākou me nā kupuna o ke ia aina. Aia no, i loko o ke lahale mā o a noho kupuna kāne anakala. Oia hoi o George Rowan. Oia no ke kahu mā lama ana o ke ia loko ia o Waikalua. I ke kauwela a pauloa o ku uwa opio, hele no mākou a kukulu no i mau hale. Pakui no i ki ia aina. Kukulu no lākou ke kahi hale kuke o na mea ai. Kukulu no lākou i ke kahi mau hale li'i no ka hia moe ana maluna o ki ia aina. Me nā kupuna mākou no i noho i ki ia aina. Mai ka ho'omaka o ke kauwela a hiki ke ho'opau ana o ke kauwela. Ke la manawa a hoi no mākou i ka hale. Ma haiku no mākou i nohoi. Ke la manawa a nui no ka hauole o mākou na kamaiki. Hele no mākou au kai ina la a pau. Hele no mākou lawai ina la a pau. Hele no mākou ohi ina olepe mai ke la mau pohaku mā o. Anoho no mākou i ke la mau pohaku. Mahope o ka o hiki ana no o na olepe. Ai no mākou i ke la olepe. Ohi na olepe, o hiki, mahope o ka o hiki a. Ho o mai loko ka vai o ke kahawai a ai no ka olepe mā o. Let me explain a little bit. When we were young, we actually built small houses out over here, only for the summer.
Yeah.
We built the cooking house and sleeping house. In that house there that's still standing, my uncle, George Rowan, my granduncle, he lived in that house. And so we would come out for the summer and we would make these makeshift houses and we'd camp all summer. At that time, we were children. And of course, we swim all day, we fish all day, lawai o noka ia for fish, lawai o noka papai for crabs. And then out there in those rocks, we gather all the olepe, the oysters. Nui ke ano o ka olepe, we had big oysters all out here. And then noho no mākou i ke la mau pai pohaku, we sit on those row of stones with my grandmother, and we ku'i ka o pihi no ka o hiki ana no, we pound them with the rock, we split them open with the pahi, the knife, and then we just watch them in the street and we eat. Nobody told us about leptospirosis. We never have that kind of ike. We live off the aina, we live off the kai, and we live off the kahawai. So it was a wonderful time. So he mana'o no ka pilina, reference to the connection to the aina. So no ku'u anakala ki ia aina, this land was for our uncle Henry Wong. And nā no ki ia aina me ki ia loko ia o Waikalua, so he owned the land and of course the fish pond.
Yeah.
And that was how we all came here during the summers, and we spent our summers right here. About exactly where that tent is now, or maybe a little bit further this way.
Yeah.
We had set up all our makeshift homes, stay the whole summer. If we like Oʻahu, we go from the ocean into the street. Pow, wipe off, change your clothes.
Yeah.
You know, that was the life. That was a simple life. And so, you know, out here, now it's a little bit high tide. When it's low tide, yeah, we go outside and, you know, we get the ka upena kahe'e, o ia ho'i ka upena hau, no ka hau ana no o ka i'a papa'i. Low tide, you look for the i'a papa'i in the daytime with the upena kahe'e o ka upena hau. Hau mai no i ka i'a papa'i, ke ano o ke la ina a i'a papa'i o ia ho'i o ke kuahonu. Nui no nā papa'i kuahonu i loko o ke ia kai. So hele no mākou me nā kupuna, me nā upena kahe'e, ka upena hau, imi no mākou i ka papa'i kuahonu. Now the papa'i kuahonu, people call it the white crab because the kua, the back of the white crab, it kind of looks like the back of the turtle. Get sections and get little big spots and small spots.
Right.
That we call the kuahonu.
Oh.
Some people call the kuhonu.
Yeah.
And sometimes, I loko o ke ia loko ia, o Waikalua, hiki no ke lawai ano ka papa'i hamoa, ka papa'i noho ukele kai. Oia ke ano o ke la papa'i. Papa'i hamoa, ua ho'okomu ia no ke ia ano papa'i i loko o ke ia kai o Kāneʻohe, maka hiki umi kumama iwa kālua kumama ono.
1926.
Ka manawa mua o ka ho'okomu ana no ke ia ano i a papa'i hamoa.
Oh.
O ka papa'i hamoa, he papa'i noho i ka maukele, ka ukele kai. So laki no mākou, ka hiki a mākou ke lawai ano ke ia ano papa'i nui ma ka mākaha o ke ia loko ia.
The biggest ones.
Ai, pololei no, nui no, ke ia ano papa'i nui no, a nui ke ano o ke ia papa'i hamoa. So, you know, what we refer to as a Samoan crab, that's a mud crab. That was introduced here in Hawaii in 1926.
Yeah.
So between 1926 and maybe 1935, 36 or 738, they kept introducing that crab. So really no more inoa Hawaii I like pū me nā ano papa'i Hawaii o ka wā māmua loa. He papa'i hou ke la papa'i Hamoa, ke kahi inoa a papa'i noho ukele kai, the crab that likes the muddy waters or the mud. So out here, hiki no ia mākou, hiki wau me ko'u māma, nā mākou no ka huki ae o ka upena lauko. Pā ne'e no, mā ua mai ke la au, huki iki ia upena lauko, pā ne'e, ka ne'e ana a mā ua a hiki i ke la au. A hiki ia mā ua i ke la au, a nā mākou no e hāpai no ke ia la upena lauko, a huli ia i nā papa'i i loko o ka ipuhau. Pau ka helele ino o ki ia mau papa'i i loko o the pakini, yeah? And then, ne'e hou. Hele no mā ua mai ki ia au no, huki i ki ia upena lauko, pā ne'e no, hiki i ke la au, a hana hou. Hāpai no ki ia upena lauko, a huli ia i nā papa'i i loko o ka pākini. Hipu ia ka pākini me ke kaula ma ke kikala no, he pakini nui, drag ke la pākini, ke la au ki ia au. So what we did was, we had the drag net for the lawai'a for catching the papa'i. So we take the drag net, and me and my mom, we start this side here, and we drag all the way down until we hit that side. Then we huli the the upena lauko, turn them over, and all the papa'i fall in the pakini, and then we start again. We have to go like 10, 15, 20 times
To
catch all the
piha.
crab.
Pakini?
Because and kamanawa o ka hoʻopihapiha ana no o ka pakini me nā mea papa'i a pau no ka māua hana a ho'i no māua i ke la'aina a nā mākou no ka holoi ana o ke ia mau papa'i a ke kahi ho'okomo no i ka pahu hau a ho'okomo no ka ho'omākaukau no o na mea aina mākou i ke ahi.
Yeah.
Ai no ka papa'i me ka poi a oia vale no. Oia vale no. And so we would catch the crabs. And then some, after we wash and clean, we put in the freezer for later on. Some we prepare, we eat. We had the halekuke over here. Some we ho'olapalapa, i loko o ka vai, me ka pa'akai, ke kahi mau we palai ia no, me ke koiu a me ke kōpa'a o no loa. Ka ai iho ana no me ka poi. So some we boiled and we ate, and some we fry them with shoyu and sugar, and then we eat them with the poi.
I'm getting hungry now.
Yeah, oia no ka hana a mākou, ka manawa o ka mākou noho ano no o ki ia aina. Yeah, hele no mākou i ke kahi maula, hele no nā kamali i huaka ino ma ka pā o ka loko vai. Hiki no ia mākou i ka mākaha, hiki no mākou i ka pāpa inui, pāpa i hāmoa. Ho ino mākou i ka hale. Ha ino mākou i ko kupuna wahine. Iki a mākou ki ia papa inui, papa i hāmoa. O lelo mai ko kupuna wahine i a mākou. Shh, hele o ko me ka upena hau. Nā no. Ina e iki i kou kupuna ana kala ia o kou. Nā no, ka nuku ana no ia o kou. So hele me ka aka hele. Hele me ka mū. Hau no, me ka upena hau i ka papa'i nui a lawe no, a na'o no ke kuke o ke ia papa'i. So grandma would say, you be careful now. Don't let your granduncle see you. You go quietly.
Don't make noise.
Don't make noise. And you go scoop, because you need the big upena kahe'e. We call it upena hau, because you got a hau, you got a scoop, right?
No.
Go with the upena hau, catch the crab, and bring them back.
And those are the biggest at the
The
makaha.
huge one, and then we eat them for dinner with rice. Rice and poi. Rice and poi. You know, the living here on this aina, I have many good memories. It was easy living, you know. And my uncle knows, my granduncle, I love pancake, yeah? But the kind pancake they make is what we call the plaua pilalilali. Plaua pilalilali is the flat gummy one. You fry them in the oil, and then my uncle put peanut butter and guava jelly on top, and then roll them up and make for breakfast over here.
Wow.
That kind of breakfast tastes more ono when you get the moa'e o ke kahakai, the sea breeze coming, yeah?
Yeah.
When the moa'e kahakai come, make you hungry. And all day long while you're here, you think about eating good food. And then, i ke la kahawai, with the mea makoi, hele no mākou me ke ia mākoi, i loko o ke la kahawai, and then no ka huki ana no o ka moe li'ili'i. Moe li'ili'i ke kahi manawa no ka oama. Ma ke ia kahaone, ma ke ia kahakai hiki ke loa no, me ka mākoe me ka lawai a mākoe, ka oama li'ili'i ke la au no moe li'ili'i. Ina manawa a pau me ka mākoe. Nui no ka mākou hau oli, so we get the fishing pole, that side we catch the moe li'ili'i, and this side we catch the oama. And then that kind, the fish so small, you just come home, fry them, and eat them like that. Eat everything.
Well, tell us about that boat, the boat, the Pula boat that you guys built.
Va'apiula. Va'apiula, a kahana no o na kabali i ke la.
Ai.
Because nui no na piula, va'amamua. Aia no ka piula, the roof of the house they make with piula.
Yeah.
But if you get extra, waihono lako ki ia piula maka
it's the corrugated
corrugated iron. So we take the 2x4, maybe 2 feet 2x4, and we fold up the pula. We fold up the pula, and then we pound them with the hammer and the nail. And then we take the middle part, and somebody go sit in the middle, and we push them down, and we make the bottom a little bit flat. And that was the va'apula. And then when we find the tar, again, nobody went tell us this kind of stuff, but we chew them, and then we plug up the hole with the tar. Plug up the puka, and then plug up the side with the tar, and us, yeah, with the waha, chew, make them soft, stick them all inside. And then we grab one stick or anything we can, and then we make our paddle, and we jump in the pula, and then we go up and down this river here. That time had the pontoon over there.
Huh.
It's the makeshift wharf, yeah.
Yeah.
So before we used to run from the aina, run into the pontoon.
Oh, in the pond, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
We used to go. We used to do all kinds of things as kamali'i over here. But the va'apula was so funny. Main thing never sink. And we go up and down this river on the va'apula.
With fishing pole or drag net or?
No, just
fun.
Pa'ani, hana o na kamali'i. Hele, nānea I loko o ki ia kahawai. Kahawai o Waikalua and ka loko ia o Waikalua and kahaone o Waikalua. That's what we call the Waikalua River, the Waikalua Pond, and the Waikalua Ocean. Oia no, I ku ike maupopo ana no ki ia aina.
Ai.
Mai ka ino, nui no na mo olelo ka mālama ana o na po I kupuna. Eia no, ku ike ana no, ku maupopo ana no, ku ho'olohe ana no, o ka olelo Hawaii. Ke kamaliu ana no o nā kupuna, ko o kupuna wahine, me ko o kupuna anakala, a me nā kupuna anake, ho o kipa no lako ia mako, me ko o kupuna iki ia aina. Ke la manawa, olelo Hawaii wale no lako. Hanai no lako ia o me ki ia olelo. Oia no ke kumu o ko o ho o mau ana no o ka olelo Hawaii. Ke ia aina o Waikalua. No laila nui no ko o hau oli ko ho o kipa hou ina manawa a pau I ki ia aina. Ka nenea hou, ka noho, I ka pā ana a ki ia moae me ka mālie, ka pā ahe ana no o ka moae. O ki ia mau la'au kupuna o ki ia aina. These trees have been here for a long time. I remember all these trees, the milo. Nui no na la'au milo I ki ia aina.
Yep.
Nui no. And ki ia kahawai, ke kahi manawa, ke ia kahaone, ke kahi manawa a nui ka one. Ke la manawa, you know, just like it was a white sand beach, we lie down and enjoy on the beach. It was never over here. I don't
Ground
remember
like this.
white sand beach, never.
Yeah.
Not this side. Because over here, the mud flat where you can go and get clams before. This is now Naone Ola'a, right?
Right.
Naone Ola'a beach over here. And before climbing season, everybody come down. Everybody come climbing over here. Very popular and famous place for climbing. You go with the finger, yeah? You go and you look and you watch on the sand. And when the sand bubble, the hua li'i, then you stick your finger inside and you feel. And then if you get the clam, then you get one stick and you dig inside. That's how we go climbing over here. We never have special tools. I think after they had special tools, they started to bring shovels, deplete. Deplete. But before we gotta walk and crouch and look, and then we see the little hua li'i coming. And we put our finger, get one clam, and get the stick and dig the clam out. Next thing we know, huge shovel and screen, and they're digging, and so I don't know more clam over here. They went
too greedy.
Everything.
Yeah, too greedy.
Po'epi, selfish, take all the clam. They deplete. No can deplete. you gotta malama no.
Right.
Ina vai pono o ka aina me ke kahakai, you gotta take care of the natural resources of the land and the sea.
Right.
You cannot just deplete.
Right.
But I remember for our time, kamaiki time, that's how we used to clam. And then, like I said, as we got older, we used to watch people come from all over. What they carried. Oh, what is that? They had huge screed, the kind two people do like this. Dig up huge mounds of sand. All the clam. Nalawale ia, no more.
Yeah, disappear.
Nalawale ia, God.
Yeah.
And that was on that side there. But my best memory is eating all the oyster over there. Now no more oyster.
Well, we're trying to bring some
Big
back.
oyster.
Yeah. We're trying to bring oysters back.
Ku ino I ka olepe me ka pohaku, and then pao ka kui ana no me ka pahi ho o komo no no ka ohiki ana no o ka olepe. He mo ia ke kahi ai no me ka hau oli me ka lea lea just holo no I ka kahawai ho o komo no I ka oaha o no I ka momoni iho ana no. So good when you swallow.
Yeah, yeah.
We never know nothing about these kind of things, but today, now get all kinds of stuff, yeah, COVID-19, Delta, all kinds. We never know this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We just live so free. Pili pono no I ke ia aina. Pili pono no I ke la kahawai. Pili pono no I ke ia kahaone me ke ia kai. Pili pono no o ke la aloko wai. We were connected to all of these things because that was our life. That was our survival. We just do what we had to do, and nobody complained. We just live. Yeah, how only no mako I kela manava. So when I come here and I look at the house, that house has so many memories. And you know, how many storms and how many hurricanes and still standing.
Yeah.
I think you guys should have fixed it from the beginning, would still be there. That would be a huge compliment because historically, yeah, that played a big role. And of course, on the other side had other buildings too, yeah. That's where the boats used to take off on the other side. And then they would take people out into the pond, no kalavai ana. They used to catch,
Mullet?
mullet, ava, yeah?
Ava?
Yes.
Milkfish?
Yes. Pololei,
Any papio or barracuda or anything like
barracuda. Barracuda.
Kaku.
Kaku, ava, yeah. They used to catch inside here.
that? Puffer? The puffer? Was puffer in
Puffer
it?
fish, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because they used to gather at the makaha. So, you know, gonna have papai because get all the puffer fish. We see them. And then, you know, kids, right? We're going to hit them with the stick. Just for see them.
And expand, yeah.
Hana ana kamali ikela. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
You take kids, we turn the upenahau and then we poke the puffer fish. Yeah.
Do you think we could get to that in the future again?
I think so. I'm pretty sure. You know, what a wonderful place for learning. You talk about education. You know, the hoa o anono,
Yeah.
o na o pio, hoa o anono o na makua, hoa o anono o na kupuna. You know, everything is connected. You get kupuna, you get makua, you get keiki. Just like you get akua, you get aina, and you get kanaka. Everything, pilino, kekahi.
Aye.
Everything is connected. So, if you like teach the children, you have to teach the children with the makua and the kupuna, because the ho'omauana, the continuity of
Aye.
that, going to be the kupuna directing that. You see, the kupuna always there because they get the maka'ala, they watch for everything, and they watch very, very carefully. So in order for it to be perpetuated within the family, the guiding force, the ike, the guiding force, going to come from the kupuna. And in that way, it continues from generation to generation. Because that's exactly how we learn. If our grandparents were not here, how would we have all that ike
Aye.
to continue with all of that?
Yeah.
You know, every part of the learning experience, they were guiding it, leading it, yeah?
Yep.
So in the situation here, if you bring the kupuna, yeah, that know and understand, you have them sit down there and do what they do naturally. The kids going to gravitate to that because it's something they're not familiar with. And it's something new and something that they're going to feel connected because of connection of the kupuna. Because the kupuna uses mo'olelo, stories to teach. And stories that contains rituals, ceremonies, protocols, tradition. The children going to absorb all of that. But it only can come from the mouth of that kupuna. And then how we sat over here on the sand with our grandparents, sit down over here under the tree, learn the story about Pu'u Hawaii Iloa, and on that side you get
Oku'oloi.
Ku'au,
Oh.
you Ke'awa Iki, you get Ke'awa Nui, you get Pu'u Pa'u, you get all those things.
Yeah, yeah.
So we can see them right from here. So, you know, Grandma, he haka ino o ke la pu'u ma'o. O pu'u pa'u ke la. He haka ino o ke la pu'u ma'o. Ma'o aku o pu'u Hawaii Iloa. He ino ko ke la aina. O ke la aina o ke awa nuia me ke awa iki. Palikilo ma ke la au ma'o. O ka ino o ke ia moku. O ke ia o moku o loi. Ho'okahi moku no ke ia kahakai. Ale. Nui no nā moku li'ili'i loko o ke ia kahakai. O waina ino o ke ia mau moku li'ili'i. Ma o moku manu. Ke la au o hoi o ka papa ke kepa. Nui no nā moku ahu o laka ma ke la au. Nā lako ki ia ike. So they were the ones that gave us the ike. We never just wake up and we knew all of this. We had to spend time. You have to live, work, eat, sleep, most of all, listen. Listen when the kupuna talk. You know, and you just ho'opili, you follow along. And through that experience, you learn all of these things. And for the education process, for the ho'omau ana, you know, there are so many modes that you folks can bring into the program.
Yeah.
But the mode of the kupuna and kupuna responsibility and the experience of mo'olelo through the waha of kupuna, the experience of mo'okuauhau through the waha kupuna, the experience of mo'oaina through the waha kupuna, that is a part that will be unforgettable throughout that student's life. Because they're always going to say, oh, kupuna so-and-so when teach us this.
Aye.
They're going to remember those stories. And children love stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Adults too. We like stories, yeah. That's why we watch TV. But anyway, people, they love to hear the stories.
Yeah, yeah.
And like I said, culture, tradition is transferred with mo'olelo stories. And you need that aspect, storytelling.
Yeah.
Ka mo'olelo ana, ka mo'okuauhau ana, the genealogies, the mo'oaina, the history of the land, the different places, yeah? Because ke ia aina, o he ia me Kāneʻohe, ke ia mau ahupua, nui no na mo'olelo I pili ana no ke la ke ia mau wahipana. So many stories, so many histories about all this area. You know, you get pu'u ke ahi a kahoi, you get pu'u lani huli, you get pu'u kona hua nui, you get nu'u anu. Malalo iho o kona hua nui a me lani huli o iho o ka aina o ke kele. Aia no iluna o hi lani vai, ka vai hanini o hi lani vai. Ma ke kahi au o iho o mamala hoa, ma ke kahi au o iho o ka hua nui. Nui no na kahawai ko ke la aina. So many things.
Yeah.
So many stories, so many histories. And for so long, we've been separated from that.
Yeah.
Now is the time we got to pili no ke kahi. Connect everything.
Right.
No ko kako maupopo pono ana. So we understand the protocol, the order. So hiki no ia kākou ke holomua me ke ia ike so we can go forward with this knowledge and pilipono, be connected to the land the right way. Me ka mālama anō o ke akua so we can honor and respect the akua. No ka mālama anō o ka aina so we can honor and respect the land. No ka mālama anō ke kahi so we can respect one another as human beings. We become kahu, caretakers. Caretakers for all that is sacred from the akua, caretakers for all that is sacred on these islands, including the kai, because ilalo iho o ke kai get aina.
Ai.
Yeah, and then mai kawaulani o nā mauna hiki I ke kai hohonu nui no ke ia aina. So much land. And then we have to be guardians and be caretakers of one another. And those are the things that we need to instill. Ho'a'o, teach, ho'ao, enlighten. So on the educational, scientific part, you get ho'a'o ana.
Yeah.
On the kupuna side, you get ho'ao ana, enlightenment and education. Two different modes. And so this kind of a program, I think, is conducive and it allows for that to have two different kinds of modes or many different kinds of modes of learning so that our children know and understand.
That's a timeless message right there for the past, present, and the future.
Polole.
Yeah.
Aia no ia oi ka pauku I waina, I hear no ka po, I hear no ka hiu. You here in the present, but where did you come from and where you going to go?
Ai.
So you got to bring it all together. Once you understand where you came from, you understand why you're here and you understand where you're going. Aia no ia oi ka pauku I waina, I hear ka po, I hear ka hiu. You like the fish with not a head and a tail. So the head no can see where you're going and the tail no can push you forward. Oi no ka ike no ea o na po I kupuna. That's what the kupuna would say. Aia no ia oi ka pauku I waina, I hear ka po, I hear ka hiu. So bringing it all together in one understanding. And so you have all the components working together. You have the present, you have the guidance of the past, and then you have the education coming from the future. And it's remarkable that the way the Hawaiians phrase it, because, you know, aya ka wā mamua pono.
Right.
What does that mean? That the past is in front of you. So if the past is in front of us, the past is the head with the eyes that Ike see and Ike understand, Ike enlightenment, knowledge. That's the kupuna. That's the past. Then you get the present generation. That's the makua.
Yeah.
Then you have the future, the tail swimming, that becomes the future pushing, and that's the keiki, you see? So
That's a great picture.
We all have roles and responsibilities, and that's what we have to be able to absorb so we know and understand what is the right and appropriate role and responsibility. So you know what I do is I always tell a story about the coconut, and I love this story about the coconut. I told you guys, right? I love this story about the coconut. So the kupuna, I loko o kaha ohana, me kona ike, alaka iki ia ike no e au, me na keiki, na opio, I mean na makua. So the kupuna in the family is the one that leads and directs this kind of wisdom and knowledge. So when the kamaiki can carry one coconut, because usually, you know, 1 or 2 or maybe 3 years old, you cannot carry the coconut, especially give water, because kaumahano, it's heavy. So, but as soon as the kupuna see that the keiki can hapai one coconut, mai kai, so that is insightful for the kupuna in their ike, their eyes and their knowledge, that the child can do this much work. So the child now, as a cooperative part of the ohana system, now is going to be given kuleana, responsibilities. Now, the child going to grow and the kupuna going to keep watching. Now, the kamaiki can hapai 2 coconut. So, kupuna uses ike again, sight, watch the action, sight, knowledge, now going to give more responsibility. Now you can help more. So you can carry 2 coconut. Now you know how to use 2 hands. Before it was 2 hands, 1 coconut. Now you can carry 1 in the right, 1 in the left. Now you're ready for more responsibility. Well, later on, going to become opio, teenager. That's about 13 up to 19. But for some people, they stay teenagers long time, maybe to 30. But anyway, by that age, they can carry maybe 3 or 4 coconuts. Oh, my kai. Now they're going to get more responsibility.
Right.
Kupuna going to watch them, and now this is what you can do. Up to the time you become makua. The makua, maybe they're so akamai, they can carry 5 coconuts. Well, that's because the makua, they guide the work. You see, kupuna malama ina mo'opuna. Grandparents going to take care of children, and that's their time to transfer ike. Ho'au ana, give the light, right? So the makua have to work. Okay, so between that time of 1 coconut, 2 coconut, 3 coconut, 4 coconut, 5 coconut, the kupuna can carry 10 or 20 coconuts. Well, what happened between that time and that time? And now the grandparent can carry 20 coconuts. Because by then, watching all of this and teaching responsibility, the kupuna will weave 2 baskets, 10 coconuts in each, and walking away. And that's the best story I can give you about ike and knowledge and how the growth of the process. Because you see, while you guys was doing all that, we was already in the next step.
Aye.
We went nala ike imau eke, weave the basket, ho'opiha piha no mekaniu, put all the coconut inside, 1 hand grab 10, 1 hand, and then carry them and go. That's
My
kupuna
kai.
knowledge.
Yeah.
That's kupuna knowledge. While you learning, learn from the kupuna that no one understand. So when you get up that ladder, they're going to teach you this is what you need to do now. You power this time of your life, you power that time of your life, you did this, now you're going to do this. Forethought, yeah. Ku'ike, the ability or the vision to see in the future, in the front,
Yeah.
way into the front. Yeah.
No
And,
skipping steps too.
That's right. Because you not jump from the keiki to be the kupuna. No, your role and responsibility is to be a keiki. We know what our role is. We know what our responsibility is. The keiki should not try to be a kupuna. The opio should not try to be a kupuna. The makua should not try to be a kupuna. A kupuna is the next step to being an aumakua. You like being an aumakua that quick, go ahead. Live your life. Be happy you and keiki. Be like us, enjoy this aina. And when you become opio and become makua, wait your turn. Kupu ana ikava kupono.
Aye.
The growth process is in the right time, the format, the protocol. Wait for that time. No need rush. Because we are, the kupuna, the living representatives of every ancestor in the spirit world. We transcend, yeah? Transcend kupuana, transcend. So once we power this ola, then we transcend into the next light. We move.
And that's the natural order.
That's the natural order. It's called the pono. And you know, sometimes people are confused on the pono. They like take roles that don't belong to them. Not your role and not your responsibility because it's not in the pono. So we need to understand what the pono is and how each and every one of us has a role and responsibility in the pono.
My kai. My kai.